Good evening. It's April 30th on the Alan Osborne Show. Hey, I want to cover some national stuff today. Have y'all been watching the news? I know it's hard to watch, but let's talk about it. Boy, we better get a big wake up call. The military is getting weak. Everything in the world is going on, and we're chasing people over. The government trying to support uh, some kind of transgender movement and other stuff, blaming everything on guns. Our every side of the aisle just seems to be lost in what America needs. And I'll tell you what it doesn't need is open borders and an endless supply of making ourselves vulnerable to everybody in the world. You go look with thousands and thousands of people are just walking into the U.S. and they're sitting there. Listen to this: the politicians are sitting there talking about this legislation that's going to stop being in place coming up here shortly. And doesn't matter what the name of it is. I don't get lost in a number. I'm not even going to use it. But the issue is the government says, oh my God, this policy is going to expire that Trump made and let all these people into America. Well, you idiots. You're the government. Pass a law and stop it right now. If you can't handle it, then put a stop to it. What kind of idiots have we elected to the U.S. government? They're sitting there screaming this shit's going off the deep end. And on the news tonight, they were interviewing in other countries, interviewing the populace, wanting to know what they thought of our president's performance. Who gives a rat's ass what they think? They're not fucking citizens. The liberal news, y'all need to have that shit stuck up your ass. No, I don't give a shit what somebody thinks in northern Iraq of our president's performance, and I'm sick of being relying on their oil when we don't have to. You know, we didn't cause all these problems. Somebody goes, I can't believe the American president's not doing something about it. They're lucky we're doing anything at all. We don't have an obligation to fix everything in the world for these countries. And I'll tell you something else. These people coming from these countries, these same people, they broke the fuck out of their own country. They broke it. Go look at what they couldn't stand up or fix anything. And they're all coming there with their hands out. I'm sorry, say no. We got poor people in America. We got kids that need this tax money, our schools. We do not have an obligation to be the immigration destination of the world. So, on the U.S. issue, I hope people are concerned about what they see. It's what they don't see and what they don't realize because they're focusing on what doesn't matter. Our country's going to hell in a handbasket. And locally, we're being led equally by a bunch of dumbasses. Freaking Danny Glidewell's over on the Friends of Glidewell page screaming about these people coming, and they're going to, since we didn't vote to let them borrow taxes $40 million, they're just going to borrow $40 million anyway. That's your elected officials telling you, F you. You voted for us not to do this to you, and we're just going to do it in a different vehicle because we have to. And Danny says we have to because we're dying for infrastructure. Well, he's the same dumbass that won't vote to change the land development code. Guess who could stop it? The same commissioners that say they don't know what to do about this lack of infrastructure. Well, then put a moratorium on building anything other than an already platted home, because you've got 100, you probably got 15,000 of those sitting around right now, and change the land development code to require people to build the infrastructure required. You're the idiots building stuff with no infrastructure and then going, oh my God, all these people bought these homes. Well, what do you think was going to happen to them? Oh my God, they had children. Oh my God, they drive. And when they don't want to go to the beach, they need stuff to live like normal people, but screw them. This is tourist town to the almighty dollar. There is no balance between vacation and reality. And all we are, most of us, is an endless supply to a board of people who don't know what to do with their own money. Danny, you're a disaster. And your fiscal responsibility between the golf course and the lawsuits and can't hire an attorney Can't get an administrator. I mean, let's think about this. Tony Corman admitted, and we'll see after it goes to trial, then maybe they'll pay it off. It'll never go to trial, because if it goes to trial, here's the question. If the interim county administrator fired somebody because they had blown the whistle on something and fired them over it anyway, and Matt Carpenter says Tony knew, if he ends up doing that and it costs the county money, is it going to be daily business? Are the commissioners going to deal with it? Or will the new administrator, Tony's helping hire? So Tony could be involved. If the guy that replaces Tony may have to fire Tony. How anxious do you think they are for that? You can't make this kind of shit up. But who interviewed the guy who's working in the county attorney's office now? I mean, we've hired some attorneys since Maxwell left. Who interviewed them? How'd they get hired? Did we really let an interim attorney who's going to have to do business with our county attorney's office build our attorney's office? You cannot make up all this stuff. The stuff that we're allowing here at the local level and other places where they don't even enforce the rules that they adopt, it's on you, the people, just to continue to fix the issues and pay for the lawsuits. That shit's got to stop locally, or it'll never stop nationally. And you should be concerned about what you see on TV. Because once in those countries, what you see on TV was somebody else's backyard. And if you don't think it can't come right to your house, there's 10,000 of them a day on the border. Some towns got a town. Take them. And it's coming to a town near you. And here comes the truth on the Alan Osborne Show. We got problems. And giving up all our guns while we let thousands of people from God knows where who did God knows what, who couldn't save a damn thing in their own country. And I mean any country. If you're coming here illegally, I don't care where you're from. Unless we invited you here on an evacuation by the United States military, you need to go home and apply to be an American. What are you bringing to the table that you should enjoy the benefits of being an American? Because the rest of us, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't feel obligated to take care of the world. I don't mind the elderly, the handicapped in our own country, children, people who can't defend themselves. But everybody just sees us as a free place to get a check. Y'all need to get the heck out. That's the way it was on the Alan Osborne Show. 30 April 2023. Hang on to your hats. Maybe that administrator will have to fire the old administrator. Round and round we go. What is daily business, and what should the commissioners be involved in? Who's on third? And nobody's guarding home plate. Only on the Alan Osborne Show. You can't make this shit up, but you can unelect it. You can have an audit. You can write the governor. Demand some answers. Y'all keep them straight here. They can't keep themselves straight.